favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We're out of closed session at 5:59. There is no reportable action. And we'll move on to open session. Public comments. Anyone out there who'd like to speak to us, now's the time. Hearing none, moving on to voluntary public roll call by teleconference. If you're out there, let us know if you want to.
Just Roseman News here, in person.
And you're right here.
Yes, in person.
Welcome, ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Moving on to consent calendar. CC1 is review of check vouchers from April 16th to the 29th, and CC2 is from the 30th to April 30th to May 13th. I have a motion to approve CC1, CC2. Motion, Director Wallace. Second. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mr. President, my apologies, we have CC3 also. Are you going to do a separate motion for CC3?
CC3, oh, I skipped it. CC3, I'm sorry about that. It's only one line, and my eyes went right by it. It's motion for the cash balances for April. I have a motion for CC3.
We're going to run all those one check.
We'll include that with CC1, CC2. And does the second agree to that?
Yes, I agree.
All right. Any objections? Now's the time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Public hearing, there'll be the opening of the public hearing regarding the adoption of resolution 2024-1. And I will open the public hearing now, and it is 6:01. First, there'll be a brief presentation by the staff, then a time for public testimony, and then the closing of the public hearing. And then that will be followed by the adoption, if that happens. All right, brief presentation by the district staff.
Is Dr. Brad Rockerband on the call?
Yes, he is. Good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Happy to be here. Appreciate the time. Fortunately, there's no updates from the workshop and presentation that we had last week. So, under the public hearing rules, we'll go ahead and present the budget again. And then happy to answer any questions from the board or the public should they arise. I'm happy to present one of my senior associates, Sadie Greenwald, who has been pivotal in transitioning the district into a very formalized budget process this year. And I'm going to turn it over to her to present the budget to you now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm on the call. Just wanted to make sure you could all hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, members of the board and district staff. It is my pleasure to present to you this evening the fiscal year 2024-2025 operating and capital budget. The budgets before you tonight are the result of months of hard work and collaboration within and between district departments. And I would like to begin by thanking the General Manager, Director of Administration, and Public Works for their commitment and dedication to this important process. The district is going into its fourth year of the 2021 rate study. Year-to-date analysis indicates the district is operating well within expectation of the rate study. The water and sewer budgets before you this evening are based primarily on that rate study. The streetlight budgets are based on a preliminary engineer's report, which will come before you in a future meeting for consideration and adoption. The remaining budgets are based on a combination of trend analysis of prior year's actual activity and forecasts of future needs. In an effort to rebuild the reserves, while continuing to have sufficient financial resources to carry out the programs and capital projects within the district, the rate study forecasted an approximate surplus of $287,000 in fiscal year 2024-2025. This approach is intended to smooth the impact of the rate increases while simultaneously getting the district's reserves replenished over the 5-year study period. The budget before you, however, is a balanced budget, which million in reserves funding, as well as the use of $6.3 million from reserves to invest in capital projects. This $6 million figure includes $2.6 million in fiscal year 2023-2024 rollover funding. For fiscal year 2024-2025, the district proposes operating budget revenues of $16 million and operating expenditures of $12.5 million, and proposes utilizing a net $2.6 million from its reserves. Also before you this evening is the capital budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. As a reminder, along with the 2021 rate study, the district transitioned to what is known as a pay-go capital budget, as opposed to the funding projects on an as-needed basis or alternative method. The pay-go approach maximizes infrastructure expansion and maintenance while simultaneously ensuring capital spending is contained to a fixed amount. As you are all aware, the district has undergone a significant diagnosis of its capital and infrastructure needs and has prepared a 5-year plan to address its larger financial needs. Therefore, the capital budget before you this evening is $8.8 million, which includes the $2.5 million in pay-go funding laid out in the rate study, as well as the $6.3 million in other funding, as explained a moment ago. The proposed budget will have the following impacts on reserves: a total increase to the general fund reserve of $414,000, a total decrease to the water fund reserve of $114,000, a total decrease to the sewer fund reserve of $3 million, a total increase to the LAT number 2 reserve of $96,000. As a reminder, a budget is a flexible document. It is meant to serve as a roadmap for the expected sources and uses of financial resources over the course of a fiscal year. It is based on the best, most current economic information available at that date. But like any forecast, circumstances can change, and district staff will continue to monitor both the economic and legal landscape. We will continue to practice conservative fiscal prudence and will keep you informed of actual performance as the fiscal year unfolds. Thank you again for the opportunity to present the fiscal year 2024-2025 operating and capital budget. This concludes my part of the presentation, and I would like to turn it over to the general manager to present the details of the CIP budget.
Thank you, Sadie. Just to highlight a couple of the projects that we have planned that perhaps might be new to the public. One is the well 10 plan, additional well, kind of a backup to well number 9. We currently don't have, our backup right now is water we receive from AVEC. If we drill another well, we would not necessarily have to rely on that backup water source, and we could then take well down for necessary maintenance and repair as needed. Also want to highlight in the water budget the recent enactment of a chromium treatment standard by EPA. So in response to that, we've included some funding to start studying what our best solution would be to treat the wells that we know have been impacted. Also included are some kind of major maintenance projects on the tanks. One is the tank number 3 recoat, which we'll start design this fiscal year, and then we'll project to implement next year. The other project that I want to bring up is also the water service replacement project. We did recently open bids on the trickle track water service replacement project, and we plan to do other leaky water service replacements in the future. So that's actually an ongoing amount that we've included for the next 5 fiscal years. So that's also included. On the wastewater side, we have several major projects out there. One's sludge dewatering, which is split over the next 2 fiscal years. We have a grit removal expansion, which is also split over the next 2 fiscal years. A new percolation pond that, it looks like we'll be doing design this year and then the majority of the construction the following fiscal year. And then we've also included in the budget, just as a placeholder, our pond sludge removal, which, as the board has, been aware, we are negotiating with, a company to, in exchange for helping us with that, problem, to provide them, water treatment and disposal services for their
Best
leachate, that's
case.
Chiquita Canyon
The best
LLC.
case scenario, that would only be maybe what?
Oh, instead of having, so the amount in there is 6.1 million.
Yeah, best case scenario, that might be what?
That might be, 100,000. Maybe, the amount of money that we'd have to put out. So, obviously, we're gonna pursue that. I think, and then the other thing is, or the other, item that I wanna point out is that, with the sewer cameraing that we've been doing, we've discovered several, problem areas in our sewer system, and so we've also identified about $100,000 a year in sewer repairs that we're just extending out for the next 5 fiscal years as well. So, we're not only trying to address, as Sadie had said, trying to address, current issues, but also trying to, address what we know will be future needs, and spread those out over the next 5 years, so we have a kind of a plan to go by. And so, I think, Sadie and Brad have done a great job, kind of taking our ask and not saying no, which is awesome. So, we are glad to have been able to go through this exercise and present this plan to the board.
The $3 million for, proposed wells in the interchange, is the lion's share of that the cost of actually doing the well?
Yeah.
And-
Yes.
And is the location gonna be in relationship to well 9? Is it?
We don't know yet,
No, okay.
cause we wanna put the budget in there. We don't necessarily have a location selected, perhaps John does, but,
Is that
and
a
he
pretty
may,
good
and he may
location right there?
very well.
Pardon me?
Is that a pretty good location right in that area?
Yeah, there and anywhere west of there. We already did the pilot studies on the stuff to the east years ago,
Yeah.
when we were planning on doing 10 and 11, but, it shows that the water gets better the further west you go.
And will we have to buy land to do that, or?
I would imagine. yes.
Potentially, yes,
So I have a question for you,
yes,
2 things. On the pipe repairs,
yes.
I know we had looked at how much money it was gonna cost us. Do you see that, the way you have this planned out now, that you'll have a savings down the line as these repairs become less and less? Do you see a savings, or you think you'll break even if you haven't calculated it out that?
So, I'm going through that analysis on the tracheal, if you're talking about the water service replacements.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that bid came in higher than what was expected, so there's still a benefit.
Yes.
It's not, we're not gonna see the same payback, but it still makes sense from a fiscal perspective. But the other perspective that I haven't quantified is the amount of water loss that we may be experiencing due to that.
Sure.
So I have not quantified that. And we may have a better idea once this project goes into place. Then we'll have an idea of whether or not overall it makes sense. But this one is definitely our worst location. So this is a good test project, just to see how things go. But, that'll come to you on the next board meeting.
And then, Director Glenn just brought up about the well and the land. That price, that's only the maintenance, that's the actual build out price, that doesn't include the land.
Correct, it does not include the land.
Maybe you think you wanna look at maybe adding, or doing some recon on what the land price could be, and just have it in there, so when you're ready to go, you're ready to go, or?
Yeah, and I think we can include, so the first year's, budget, as that's been split up, accounts for design.
Yeah.
So, that, we could use a portion of that to do a little research on where, and do a little planning. But, as Sadie had mentioned, this is a kind of it's a guideline.
Yes.
So, you're setting aside an amount. That amount needs to be increased or decreased or swapped between lines. We will bring that to you if that need arises. But right now, I have have some contingency in there, quite frankly, I have 20% in contingency,
Okay.
so it might.
You have enough to get started?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Now, are there any other questions for the proposed capital budget part? Then are there any questions about the, annual, fiscal budget for the coming year, beginning in, in July? We spent quite a bit of time, you spent quite a bit of time working on it, we had a lot of questions at the workshop. I think we probably covered most of the questions of the directors, unless there's a couple more. Moving on to any, public testimony. Anyone out there that is emailing you on your thing, or anybody have any questions in the public, on the phone, or anywhere out there in the public domain? Hearing none, I guess, we've received the public testimony, which was no public testimony, so we're moving on to number 4. The closing of the public hearing. I'll close the public hearing at this particular time at 6:15. Moving on to GH 1B, adopt resolution 2024-1, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending in July 30th, 2025. June, more questions?
June 30th, Mr. President.
If there's no more questions, entertain motion. So moved. Motion made by Director Stewart. Second. Second, Director Wallace. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The budget is adopted. Moving on to new business, NB1, indemnify apparent.
Thank you, Brad and Sadie. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Go ahead. NB1, new business.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for the Roseman Boulevard Utility Covers Adjustment Project. We received 2 bids on May 7th. One was for Bowman Asphalt, and the other one from Senegal Construction. You see Bowman Asphalt at $99,790 is the low bid. I've received their agreement documents, everything's in order. So the recommendation is to identify Bowman Asphalt as the low, responsive and responsible bid, and then approve the agreement with them for the project.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Let's talk about the folks that put the bids in. Where'd you see the difference in the 60,000 between the 2 bids?
Bowman Asphalt, is that actually the contractor that is doing the
Senegal Construction is $60,000 more.
Correct.
Than Bowman. I was just wondering why they're $60,000 more to raise manhole covers.
You
can answer that for you.
Well, you can answer it. Oh, I know what but I wanted to, I guess what I wanted to say is, because, so I wondered that too. Yeah, I think if Sencal was actually doing the project here, their number would be a lot less as well, but since Bowman's on the job doing the project, they obviously have a lot, less mob costs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you explained that to me when we were driving there. You said the same company that's doing this is going to be
Doing our
bringing
maintenance.
them up, so they don't have to, they're already here.
They know the job, they know the issues, they dealt with the traffic control.
Will Bowman need to go out and identify, or they're already identified? They're marked?
They're not only on the plans, but we also have them, our staff's already, spray painted their look. Tied them out
Did some work for them, huh?
Tied them out, and then we'll metal detect them.
Okay, yeah, great. Any reimbursement from Kern County? They just want you to come up with $100,000, cause.
No, but they did ask us, to bid on the next process, or not to bid, but to
Prepare for the
identify
next-
our manholes and stuff for the next project, to include it in their asphalt.
Really?
Yeah, the section from the freeway to Sierra Highway.
So they're asking to,
They're asking for all of our manholes and sewer lines in that area, so they could include them in the bid for
Oh, that
that
makes
project.
wow, there you go.
There you go.
They may still ask us for some money.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Good.
Any questions for NB1? Have a motion to approve NB1.
So move.
Motion, Director Washington, a second. Second, Director Wallace, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. NB2, Resolution 2024-2. Levying and collection of landscaping and lighting assessments.
Thank you, Mr. President, and if the board could consider both NB2 and NB3, the staff report will cover both. One is for the resolution of initiation, and then the other one, and the second one is for the resolution of retention.
It's just divided into two different sections, right?
Yes, and one staff report covers both. So the district was formed pursuant to the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972. The district is divided among 51 zones with assessments involving almost 4,000 parcels. Revenues from the assessments are utilized for ongoing operation, maintenance, and servicing of street lighting improvements. So every year, the maximum assessment rate is increased by the Consumer Price Index, but the actual assessment levies are based on the actual costs incurred to maintain the street lighting improvements of the district up to the maximum assessment rate. So the resolution of initiation sets the assessment procedure in action for the tax roll, and then the resolution of intention preliminary approves the engineer's report and set a time and place for the public hearing. So after public input at the date of the public hearing, so this is what you'd be doing at the public hearing, the board of directors may then adopt the resolution of confirming the assessments in order to levy of assessments in the district. So we actually have a preliminary engineering report already, and I can tell you what the increase from last year to this year was. It looks like about 1.5%. So it's about a $3,000 bump, overall, total amount about $215,000. So it's about 1.5% increase. That was the Consumer Price Index increase. And so the spreads are accordingly spread amongst all the properties in the district, because the assessment method has not changed from last year to this year. The fiscal impact, there is no cost attributed by this action. There's no budgetary impact unless the attached resolutions and the following resolutions from the public hearing are not passed. This would impair the ability of the district to collect the assessments needed to pay the district expenses, and the general fund would be used to fund the district expenses, which we will say right now, the general fund does not have the ability to do that. So our recommendation is that the board by motion approve and adopt the two resolutions. Resolution 2024-2, which is a resolution of initiation, and then resolution 2024-3, which is a resolution of intention. Resolution of intention.
These are done yearly, right?
Pardon me?
These are done every year.
Every year.
And the increase this year is a little.
About 1.5%. Looks like.
Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve NB2 and NB3 resolution 2024-2 and 2024-3.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Director Stewart, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB2 and NB3. NB4, resolution 2024-4, collection of water and sewer base fees through the tax roll. Again, this is the yearly thing that's renewed. The comments?
I will give a brief analysis. The base rates cover the infrastructure costs associated with delivering clean drinking water and serving sewage. These costs include system maintenance, equipment facilities, customer service, administrative costs, and personnel. Base rates do not vary from month to month. The district has been using this collection method of tax roll levy for charging and collecting the base water and sewer fees since 2020. The manner of collection of service fees is exempt from Prop 218, and Government Code Section 61115B authorizes the district to provide for the collection of base fees for water and sewer service on the tax roll in the same manner as property tax. There is no cost attributed by this action, there is no budgetary impact unless the attached resolution is not passed, and this would impair the ability of the RCSD to collect the assessments needed to pay district expenses. Staff recommends that the board of directors by motion approve and adopt resolution number 2024-4 related to water and sewer base fees through the tax roll of Kern County for the fiscal year 2024-25.
Is there any feeling of the amount of increase? Is there,
It's according to the rate study.
whatever they do? Okay.
Yeah, our rate study dictates
Okay.
those fees.
So our rate study dictates it, nothing that the county
Correct.
does, okay? Any questions for the, collection of water and sewer on the property tax rolls? I think we've gone back and forth with this over the years and found that this is the best way to have a sustained fixed income without people, ending up getting behind in their bills. If there's no more questions, I have a motion for 2024-4.
I'll make a motion.
Motion Director Wallace, second. Second Director Stewart. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB for adoption of the sewer base fees on the tax rolls. Director's report and comments. Director Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, let me start by saying it was a pleasure seeing you in Sacramento, looking dapper, engaged, and representing the Roseman Community Service District as a board president. You certainly are a Roseman treasure. The event I'm speaking of was the annual Aqua Conference along with 1,800 other registered water industry guests. The governor stopped by to talk a little bit about a new website that map guides all state infrastructure improvements currently totaling $40 billion. The website is build.cal.gov. Build.cal.gov. Pretty cool website. He also pledged his commitment to fast-tracking environmental hurdles relating to the Delta Conveyance Project. This project has been mirrored with red tape for well over 10 years. He's also pushing for construction efficiency as well, using the Golden Gate Bridge construction as an example, as the cost of the bridge was $35 million and only took 4 years to build on time. Currently, at the rate of movement on the Delta project, it'll probably be completed by 2040 and Ben Stewart will be our RCSD general manager. Seriously. And lastly, the Environmental Protection Agency is warning community water systems throughout the U.S. of increased cyber attacks. Many water systems depend on computer software to treat and move water throughout and can be vulnerable to attacks. The EPA says organizations affiliated with Russia and Iran recently targeted a treatment plant in Texas and Pennsylvania. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Director Wallace. Director Stewart, you want to defend yourself? How old will you be in 2040?
In 2040, I'll be 57.
It gives you 16 years on right now. Yeah.
I might still be around now. What I have tonight is I want to give a thanks to John and the staff. This week is National Public Works Week. And I just want to read a little bit off their website. For National Public Works Week, many states, provinces, cities, and towns, and municipalities from across North America come together to celebrate with official government proclamations and resolutions in honor of the contribution public works makes to their communities. From planning, building, managing, and operating the heart of our local communities and advancing the quality of life. So I want to tell you thanks, John, for the job you do, and please share it with the staff.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
John, did you know you were doing that?
I didn't know it was Public Works Week.
You didn't get the,
It's in May every year.
Director Webb.
Yeah, well, good evening. salute to your staff, John, you guys are always working, always do a good job. So, with it getting hot and dry, I just like to warn the public, not really warn them, inform them. I had a fire escaping seminar, and they talked about the different ways of safeguarding your home. And one of the things that we don't think about, but I look at, and I think about a lot now, how many people have those vinyl gutters on their homes? When those burn, when a fire, the embers fly, those catch on fire, that plastic drops down. So the biggest takeaway I got from the seminar, make sure you have things cleared from around the house. They have a 0 clearance, and they have 0 to 10 and push it out. But I know we live in kind of a rural urban type place, we don't really think about it that much, but if you think about, we got one fire truck here until resources get here. So I think it's up to us as homeowners, renters, or whatever, to do the most we can to keep our places, kind of cleared up. And then watching that, video, they were talking about how the embers fly, how far they could fly, and they get up in those E's, those vents, and they catch us fire and all of that. And it's things you don't really think about because, you think you're out here in open spaces or whatever. But it's just kind of food for thought. It was a fire escaping seminar, and they have several different websites. Mr. General Manager, if it's okay with you, I'd like to forward those to you. And maybe you guys see where we could put them on the website, just as kind of public information type thing. Well, yeah, get it to them. Yeah, but it's things we don't necessarily think about. But if you look at our community, having limited resources when it comes to firefighting, they'll get there, but maybe we can do a little bit more to prepare ourselves before they get there. So that's what I have.
Can I comment on that, or am I allowed to? Yeah.
You're allowed to.
Okay, we had another fire last week in our community. A 2-story home right around the corner from me. And what really struck me, and I'm gonna tie it into what you just said, you see a lot on social media. The lady said it took 45 minutes before water got on that fire in the attic. So I was thinking, the average homeowner probably couldn't in a timely manner deal with the fire in their attic. So I'm always on that defensive mechanism, so I've rolled out enough water hose to be able to go from my line in the back all the way up into my attic. I also have an ABC fire extinguisher. I reached out to the gentleman again from the Red Cross, because he talked a little bit about a smoke detector giveaway program that the Red Cross has. So, maybe we can enlighten some people, have some fire awareness training around here, or to help the public just be on their P's and Q's, because it's hot. And like Director Webb said, I experienced a fire. As a kid, our home caught on fire. And those timbers, the things that fly off, you'd be surprised how they start other fires.
All the new tracks, homes got sprinklers in them.
Oh.
They all got sprinklers. That's a state law now. They have to have sprinklers.
Just not in the attic, though. They were just on
Then the
ceiling.
ceiling.
So your roof will probably still go up, but not the contents inside.
Director Washington, could you buy a few more hoses to reach my house?
I've seen it.
I'll talk to Eric tomorrow, see if we can get a
I've seen a
discount.
video on that far Yosemite. It would actually jump 9 miles.
Yeah.
Wouldn't burn nothing for 9 miles and it would jump.
Oh, real quick, folks, we started talking about distances. The seminar was basically saying, if you kind of have plants close together, there's like a staircase. The short one goes to the medium size, the tall one. So look to keep all that bottom part, because I guess the fire's not gonna jump straight up to get up in the foliage of the tree, but it says keep that lower part done. So basically from the ground up, a minimum of 3 to 4 feet, so you have that open space inside there. But I'll get that information to you, some of the websites, and the folks can entertain themselves with them probably, cause that's what 2 fires in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that house is right there off of 35th before you get to, right past Orange, and you can see it right off the road. Yeah, really depressing to see, sad, I feel so bad.
By the time we meet again, there'll be a number of graduates that are through with high school, and their pictures were in the Roseman News last week, the week before. And congratulations to all those who are finally getting out of high school. And I'm gonna invite the public, go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I have a foreign exchange student coming in August, so she'll be a junior this year at Roseman.
I've heard some very positive comments about foreign exchange students from Roseman in the past and Paraclete.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but this one fellow that I see at the gym all the time has done that through Paraclete for several years, and he said, "Don't get boys, girls are much better."
I'm getting a girl from Spain.
A girl from Spain, okay. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks.
All right. We will be having a public tour tomorrow of the water reclamation plant. And I'm not out of place inviting any public that wants to be here at 9 o'clock, and we'll
Sure.
transport them out there.
We won't transport them out there, but they can certainly follow us.
We'll see that you get there. It's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I think a number of the directors are planning to be there that can be there. And have a little tour and a description of what the new water reclamation plant is doing for us. And what it's doing for us is allowing us to pump water that we couldn't pump if it wasn't in place. And it's saving our customers significant, because we don't have to buy the water, we can pump it because of the replacement of it. All right.
We can hear it 9 AM? Yep. Okay.
But we just can't meet over, we gotta meet here.
You can meet over there if you'd like. I'm just
Okay.
trying to get everybody, RMAC is gonna be part of that
Okay.
group, so I wanted to make sure that it was a little bit organized, but it's fine.
So
If you
just
guys
stand-
wanna go, if you
stand
wanna
back
go
and
direct
get-
out there, that's fine.
Okay, gotcha. No, if you're gonna do
All
a
right.
presentation here.
No.
No, okay.
You have a speech prepared?
Yeah.
Ryan will fill the room with words, don't worry about
Yes,
it.
he, oh, yes, he will. Brian's gonna give his presentation, I'll be there, cause he gets worked up about his budget.
And rightfully so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I can, I don't know why it just came to me, but I can verify that our general manager, still is working even when he's driving in his car. He has employees call him and ask him questions and want some approval from Rand before they move forward on some things.
Fax machine in the glove box.
I don't see nothing
That's
else.
old school. It's PDFs now.
So you are are you the James Brown, the general manager?
I don't know about that.
Hardest working man. Hardest working man.
Oh.
Hardest working man.
That's funny.
Hardest working man.
Okay.
He did caution the employee. He said, before you say anything, one of the directors is looking at you.
We have code words for that.
Cargo, heavy load, moving north.
All right, moving on. We're really being very serious, so we need some very serious comments from our general counsel. John, what are your serious comments?
I'm not gonna ruin the role, so I'm gonna say nothing to report.
Have a good evening, John.
You as well.
General manager update.
Just a few things. The first one, and probably the one that's, one that the board is gonna, I'll come back with a probably more formal discussion, but, apparently there is not an entity that is performing mosquito abatement in the Roseman area currently. So that responsibility, falls on the county currently, because the majority of them are, basically, they use the, sump maintenance, portions of their CSAs, the funds that they're collected through the CSAs, to do that function. And they used to contract with Antelope Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. And, Antelope Valley was doing it for a number of years, but, has not done it, probably since, not sent an invoice to the county since 2017. Now, there are some parts of the year, or some years where it's not needed. But in wet years, obviously, you have an accumulation of water and in the ponds taking a while to percolate or evaporate, you're gonna have that issue, and it serves, to have that service. So Public Works has reached out to ask the district if it would be interested in performing that function. We're just starting those discussions. And, you know, the board understands kind of what my philosophy is you guys do water, sewer, graffiti abatement, and do those things really well, make sure you're doing those things really well before you try to take anything else on. So, that's gonna be looked at in that light, just FYI. Our finance director, Brad, I talked to him about it. He put me in touch with a client of his who actually is a mosquito abatement district. And she gave me a whole laundry list of regs that they have to follow, and all the reporting and all the certifications and the staff training and all. Just a lot of work that is just not, it's not just going out there and spraying a little bit and dropping some fishing ponds. It's not that, it's a lot of work. So, I'll be looking at that very carefully before I even, so if I bring it to you, it will have been brought forward very carefully. That's number one.
Does current mosquito and vector control doesn't service out here?
They don't, and they don't have a desire to. They haven't annexed what they told LAFCO was that they have not, local area formation commission, that's what LAFCO is. So LAFCO is the organization that monitors and approves services and who provides them to different areas. So we would have to go, if we wanted to do this, we'd have to go through LAFCO and get approval, which they would probably approve. But to answer your question, LAFCO said they reached out to them and they haven't annexed any additional areas since the 1950s. So they would not be interested in doing Roseman, my understanding. Because, you know, what comes with that is, you're part of a district, like we're part of a district. They're called a district for that reason too, and that is they have taxing capabilities. And so anytime you expand a district and annex, you're now asking to tax that area as well. So provide those services, because these services obviously don't come free, and they come with a cost. So you're looking at that pretty seriously. My first reaction, quite frankly, is no, we don't want to do it, but you know, I need direction from this board once I give you all the facts as to whether or not this is something we want to take on.
Question for you, sir.
Yep.
Kern County, they have vector control in Kern County.
Kern County maintains the sumps. That's the primary source of all the mosquitoes can breed anywhere where water accumulates. So, but they primarily service the sumps.
Okay. Now, since this could be a health issue, maybe we could ask Kern County Health if there could be funding from Kern County Health or whatever, because of people getting bit with mosquitoes, how ready that can come. Maybe when you start your research, maybe we see if Kern County Health can direct us to something to get maybe some resources for it. Because I'm just thinking that that's a lot of, that's almost during the chemicals, certification, equipment, that's a whole separate piece from everything else you got going.
Yeah, ideally, I want to look at a vendor that would provide the service for us, and then we would just be some type of pass-through for the county. If the county doesn't want to directly hire somebody to do it, not an employee, but actually a service. If the county doesn't want to do that, I feel like we could step in to do that, but we would expect CSA money to fund it.
And that'd be a big number.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just thinking about the storage of the chemicals.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Training, certifications.
And I put it out to Kern County to maintain their basins.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to.
That's what it boils down to. Yeah, and they're looking to us for help. Let's see, the next item.
Public Works, we jump.
Just to give you an update on Chiquita Canyon, we're still negotiating agreements with the Chiquita Canyon I've sent a bunch of comments over, we're still going back and forth with them. Next item is, I don't know if you noticed, the AD was mounted on the wall. So, yeah, right there. AD is mounted on the wall. So thank you to Tom. John and Tom. John for letting, Tom put those up for us, but we have one here, we have one right back here in the, near the restrooms back here. We have, where'd you guys decide on that?
One in the public works.
Yeah.
And one in the wastewater.
And one in wastewater, so they're all installed.
It's great. When they come to do blood the next time, let's see if they notice it. And commend us.
Which one went out to the demonstration?
Well, it only shocks you if
Used
you
to
need
get
it.
that training every 2 years.
It only shocks you if you need it, so. Okay, then finally, I just wanted to let the board know I'll be on vacation between May 30th through June 4th.
Training to who?
I'll be on
I don't know.
vacation,
May 3rd to June.
May 30th through June 4th.
Okay. That's not a vacation, Mr.
I'm not working, that'll be vacation.
Why don't you take a vacation like 2 weeks, okay? We've talked about this, Mr. GM.
Don't worry, I sprinkle them throughout the year.
Okay, we talked about that.
I sprinkle them throughout the year. That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for the general manager? All right, moving on, Director of Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had 122 shut-off notices that we mailed on May 9th. And on May 15th, we delivered 82 door hangers. We had a total of 774 accounts that received a past due fee on May 21st, for a total amount collected of $4,278.87.
How many accounts were there?
774. I'd also like to report on uncollectible accounts receivable. We had one account with an outstanding balance of $315.42 that was written off as uncollectible in the fourth quarter. It was a debt that was disputed by the customer, and the district had insufficient documentation to pursue collection efforts.
Did they say thank you?
No. And just a reminder, we do have the blood drive on June 6th. It's gonna be here before we know it. Noon to 6. And that's the end of my report.
Question for you.
Yes.
I know in the budget, we were talking about updating some of your systems from a security standpoint. You know, the record made comment about the cyber threat.
Yes. Yes.
And this kind of goes back to the budget stuff. Are we gonna have to start every year allocating more money? That's the question.
We've been talking about this since, a lot since the beginning of the year, actually. Every time we go to a conference, and I'm like,
That's the hot topic.
at the SDRA folks were really hammering it in, and I had given a report when I got back from their spring training
Yes.
conference about that. So we are very aware of it. We're working with our IT, with Dan Reed, and we'll be beefing up our security. It's gonna be an ongoing process.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, I heard a news report, EPA, or one of the feds, did a survey of the water purveyors and agencies to find out if they are compliant with the recommendations. And it was only 30% compliant, so 70% failed to meet the standard. They didn't call us, so fortunately we weren't part of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we definitely need, that needs to be addressed.
Any questions for the Director of Administration? All right, I don't know why Public Works is always the last one, but there you are, John.
I'm here to answer any questions you may have on the weekly reports.
Anybody have some questions for John?
I don't see the weekly report. I don't think it was part of the board packet.
You didn't get one? I have two of them right here if you'd like.
288 pages and I went through.
John, I'm gonna take a look, see, because I like your report.
Pardon me?
That's awesome, and we apologize if they weren't included. We were provided.
Want to make copies?
No.
Oh, what did you need?
Oh, I just want to.
This is the the week we didn't have a meeting, and then here's the week.
I'll pass it up to them.
There you go.
We can save a tree or two.
I know you don't have to report on this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. How's the morale doing, John? Here
good.
in at the water treatment, water reclamation.
More acid treatment, you guys.
I would hope so, yes.
I think it's better, I'm not gonna brag just yet, but I think it's better up at this point of the season so far.
Yeah.
Last year, man, everywhere you go, those guys were running, but, good for us, good for you.
All right, any questions for, Public Works? All right, anything, before we adjourn? No, time to speak up.
Well, we will include that report that you have there, as well as the next report in the packet, so you can look at all
I think it just ran out of ink.
the, it was, yeah,
Pretty large file.
It was a large.
Large final.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a struggle.
When Sherry called me and asked me about if I had got that, she said, how long do you think it will take you to read those 288 pages? I said, I've already memorized some of them. It's amazing what regulations and requirements require you to do as far as, and, it's all electronic, but we have to have a paper copy for posterity, I guess, so it's still a lot of paper, it's still a lot of paper. All right. Anything to add? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then. Director Webb, motion to adjourn, do I have a second? Second, Director Stewart, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, we adjourned at 6:51.